start generally then with the garage data. I mean, there's two sets of data, really. Garage data. Is that pretty accurate data to tell you when you swipe in or drive in?
I don't have any reason to say it's not.
So you think that's an accurate reflector of at least when you're in the building?
When I would come into the building, absolutely.
If we look at it over the 8 months, that's the only numbers I have there, and I show 39% of the total days that you've swiped into the garage. Does that tell us anything, and if so, what is it?
Well, I would say it would tell you when the time that I came in. That doesn't mean that I'm not taking care of my business. I may be in a solar farm somewhere. I may be looking at a biomass plant in Albany, Georgia that's being converted from coal to biomass. I may be out at McDonald plant that's looked at conversion from coal-fired to combined cycle natural gas. Maybe in Savannah, the public hearing down there. It's just numbers of things, but more than anything, it's being here when hearings take place, being here when administrative sessions are taking place. My responsibility as chairman this year is coordinating schedules, and those are my responsibilities. I know that you understand that I had a personal loss earlier this year that took some time away.
The internal data is a little iffy with you. Tell me why.
Well, as we sit here in my office, I have my door that I come in every morning is I don't come through security. I come right off the elevator. You could come right off the elevator and walk right into my office. The other commissioners, you have to go through a secure door. I could swipe and go around through the hall and come back into here, but I have an open door policy, and anybody can just walk in my door. So the swiping wouldn't reflect an accuracy for me here.
It would generally tell us, though, whether you're here that day, wouldn't it?
Not really, because I may come in here and I may never swipe the card.
You'd have to swipe to go to the restroom.
Well, I might walk out with somebody at the same time, going down the hall as we get ready to go down to the administrative hearing or something like that. You know, you get on the elevator, you go down, and you don't swipe anything to go down there. I don't think, Richard, I don't think it can be an accurate measure of and do I have to sit behind this desk every day to be effective at what I'm doing? I don't think so. My responsibility is, we're elected from districts. I mean statewide, but we have to live in districts. My home is 96 miles one way from here. Last year I have a little office up there. It's 3 miles from my home. Could do the same thing in my house. The only difference is that people would come to see me. I felt like it would be a little imposition on my wife. I could have a computer set up in a room at my house to do the same. No, I personally rented an office 3 miles from my house, paid for it out of my own pocket, paid the utilities, paid the phone bill, paid the IT bill that comes in. I do have a state computer that I have. I get the same information. I can communicate with my staff here. I can communicate with my other commissioners. I can read my emails, and people would come to see me in that office. They would make appointments and see me up there. And a lot of them out of Atlanta that want to come see me, they'd rather come down than come down here and down because they can drive up and park and
it's in the North Georgia Mountains.
It's in the North Georgia Mountains, absolutely.
Should the public expect elected officials like you and your colleagues to be here? Is that any measure of getting your work done?
I don't see how it could be. You can't do everything from behind this desk. You've got to get out and find out what's going on in the world. Is visiting with the Augusta newsprint in Augusta, Georgia, the largest single customer of Georgia Power Company. $51.6 million was their utility bill in 2008. Finding out what their profits are, what they need to look at, and it gives me a better feeling, a better understanding. Or going into a small telephone company, one of the little independent telephone companies, to see exactly what's going on. You don't come into one of these jobs knowing everything. You got to come into this job and seek things out. And you go talk to a manager of the LJ telephone company, spent time up there, was on their TV program, an all-day affair that they had to go through their community. And people are glad to have a public service commissioner in their community. In Rome, when we had a public hearing of that, one of the people got up and was making a public comment and said, it is really nice that the public service commission comes along to Georgia.
And if you lived, and I know you never have, but if you lived in DeKalb County or in Atlanta or in Gwinnett County, you think you'd be in the office more?
I wouldn't think so. No. Right now, I mean, I have a one-bedroom condo downtown here in Atlanta. I pay for myself, and my activities don't change. I just move from it on a daily basis. It's much easier 2 miles from where I stay here in Atlanta to here, but I may be leaving here and going to a solar farm in Gordon County, which I did not long ago. A farm up there has put in a nice solar farm. It's going over to Norcross, to a company that is active in the solar production stuff.
There are very sharp differences, though, in words. Obviously, some of your other commissioners are coming to the office a lot more. I mean, Baker's in a heck of a lot more. Is he not doing as good a job?
I do not grade my colleagues. No way.
You understand the question I'm asking?
Different personality, Richard. Different personality. I'm out doing. I do speaking engagement. I'll be speaking to a Rotary Club next month in Atlanta, Georgia, 7:30 in the morning. Well, when I'm in this office here, on the days that I'm here, I'm here at 6:30, 7, 7 o'clock.
A colleague, though, you acknowledge a colleague could make the argument that he or she does a better job being in here. Some obviously think that.
Well,
they're in here a good bit more than you.
If that's what they think, does Commissioner Irvin, can he do his job staying in the agriculture building over there every day, or is he out in the field with farms and out with the pest control people and finding out the inspections that they make? You have to follow up. It's fun to walk in unannounced. We had our pipeline safety program, which is recognized as top 5 in the nation, had a big conference in Dillon, Georgia. I popped in unannounced. They didn't know I was going to be there, and I was there, and I recognized that. I said, I'm up here to take the role of who's here. Just idle conversation. But it meant a lot to them, for their chairman of their public service committee. They had people from industry all over the state, from construction to telephone to the gas companies to the MEAGs to the munis that up there on the pipeline safety program. And it meant a lot to them for their chairman to come up to their meeting up there. And I just kind of guy that does that.
Any other points you'd like to make?
This is a great job that I didn't have to have to put bread on the table, but it is a wonderful feeling to be able to serve people, and I've been involved in it basically all my adult life, not from the standpoint of a full-time job before, but it is now, and it's a great satisfaction to serve the people. And we have to bring a balance. Under the law, the Public Service Commission has a fiduciary responsibility to those investor-owned utilities that we regulate. But we also have a tremendous responsibility to consumers, just like the Atlanta gas light case that we just finished just yesterday. And there was a lot of bumping and grinding in there. Bottom line is that it's going to cost the consumer about 89 cents a month. And the company would have liked to have had more. They hadn't had a rate increase since the mid-90s. What else has gone? The news this morning, tuition gone up 30%. We're talking about 1% maybe. And we got to deal with the Georgia Power case. You can't build a generating capacity overnight. Some of the decisions that we make today, just like March a year ago on the nuclear facility, it won't be recognized until 2018, 2020, but if we want to be a state that's seeking industry to come into our state, they're going to see what kind of reliability we have, they're going to see what kind of capacity we have, and they're going to see what kind of rates we have. And I can show you charts where Georgia and our rates in Georgia are almost as cheap as any in the nation, except for places like Oregon and Washington where they got tremendous hydro, or places like Kentucky where they're sitting on top of coal, and that's all they do is coal. And but by and large, when you look at the difference between the California rate for residential and a Connecticut rate, and a New York rate, and a Georgia rate, you're looking at some anywhere from 8 to 12 cents per kilowatt hour difference in the price, and yet the reliability is right, and that's not good.
And on that subject, not our key card subject, 50 years from now, what percentage of the electricity in this country is going to be generated by coal?